and welcome to Tough Times Radio with the homeless teacher here on 1380 WELE The Cat. Today we're going to educate you, we're going to inspire you, we're going to piss you off. We're going to talk about all the things that are happening in Volusia County relating to poverty. And we have a big show for you tonight. We're going to be joined by Deputy Stephanie Krager of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and she runs the Homeless Initiative program over there and has been going throughout the country briefing law enforcement on how to help with homelessness. Our secondary guest is Mr. David Lee Davis. He's a candidate for the Supervisor of Elections for Volusia County, and he'll be calling in later on in the show. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Ephraim Project. And the Ephraim Project serves the homeless in Orlando, Florida. They serve approximately 300 people next to the main library downtown every Friday night. And if you want to go to the Ephraim Project's website, I'll give that information here in a few minutes because I'm not exactly prepared. I'm really actually so anxious to start the show, I don't even want to take any more time with the lead-in. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is do our Hidden in Plain Sight segment where we talk about homeless news. Our first story is by the website Alternet. And you know, they're not exactly a mainstream website, but I will tell you that I really like the story that I found. And the story is called 10 Unbelievably Bleep Things That America Does to Its Homeless People. And so the first thing that it talks about in this article that I have to bring out to you is how in cities throughout the country, we outlaw people sitting down. And I know I just read an article that in Tempe, they're doing that. They just passed an ordinance in Tempe, Arizona, concerning that very thing where people are not allowed to sit on the sidewalks. And that's not, you know, I agree we don't want to block the sidewalks, but I don't think we need an ordinance to do that. The second really crummy thing we do is we deny people access to shelters. And when we deny people access to shelter because they've either had a beer or they've used some kind of substance, the problem that you have with that is you're not serving the toughest homeless population. The third thing they say in their list that's really interesting is how we make it illegal for some people to give food. And, you know, right here in Daytona Beach, Florida, we had a couple that was arrested over on Manatee Island for feeding the homeless. And as a matter of fact, Chico and Debbie Jimenez will be joining us every week with a 5-minute segment we're doing where Chico and Debbie bring somebody that's homeless to our microphone. And so why would we make it illegal for people to feed the homeless? That makes absolutely no sense to me. It's no sense. And I don't even know how to argue with somebody over that. I mean, it's a basic human need, and we all need to eat, and we obviously don't have any place for the homeless to go in Volusia County. So it makes no sense. So let's go on to number 4. We install obstacles to prevent sleeping or sitting. Have you seen this stuff? What they do is they put spikes under a bridge, or they put these bars on the bus benches just so somebody can't lay down. Now, you know, we do not want our homeless citizens laying on a bus bench. But when we have no other option, we have no place for them to go, what else are they supposed to do, people? I mean, it just seems to me we should use common sense before we do all these silly things. And these are repeated throughout the country and right here in Daytona. We also have anti-panhandling laws, you know, and somebody asking for help can't be anything more than an American right. Now, everybody talks about the scammers, and we'll talk about that a little later on in our Ass Hat of the Week segment. But I'll just simply say that anti-panhandling laws do not accomplish anything, and all the data proves that. So, next thing they do, if they don't punish the people that are asking for money, they punish people that are giving people money. Now look, if a Christian person wants to give another person money, how can we in any way, shape, or form say that we can't do that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So let's get on to number 7. we have all over the country. And let's talk about Orlando, Florida specifically, because I know all the figures there. In Orlando, they had this campaign to put meters in downtown. And they tell people, don't give money to the homeless. Don't do that. Okay, you need to put it in this meter, and it'll go to an organization. Well, here's what happened in Orlando. Excuse me. They paid $2,400 to install the meters, and the meters were donated to them, by the way. And so they have $2,400 in, and in a period of a few years, they took in right around $2,400. So basically they broke even, but technically not, because really what happened was they had to pay a guy $13 and change an hour to go out and collect these meters every month, because they had to be collected separate from parking meters. It's just kind of crazy that we would put meters and say don't help people. Next. Number 8, selective enforcement of laws like jaywalking and loitering. So in other words, obviously, if a city commissioner is walking across the street jaywalking, nobody's going to take them to jail. But that does happen to our homeless citizens. And before I go further, not so much here in Daytona lately, because I'll tell you, it's really become that I am a fan of Chief Chitwood and the way he handles the homeless in Daytona. I really, really am a fan. Number 9. We destroy possessions of the homeless. Now, this is a problem here in Volusia County. The National Coalition for the Homeless has done many reports on this. The bottom line is, a lot of times when people go to jail, they don't get their IDs back. That sets somebody back completely. They can't do a thing without it. And not just their ID, but some of their possessions do disappear. And if anybody wants to call and dispute that, I'd be happy to talk to you about it, because I know the people personally that this has happened to. And number 10, we actually, not intentionally, but we kick homeless kids out of school. Okay, I don't know if you heard what I said, but we kick homeless kids out of school. And what I mean by that is there is a McKinley-Vento Act that says that if a child goes homeless, that they should be able to go to the school that's closest to them or to their old school, whichever is more important to them. Whatever suits the family and the child's needs. So that is really the way everything should be handled. But see, here's the thing, okay? You have all kinds of obstacles, all right? Whether it's residency problems, whether it's immunization problems. Now, let me assure you that although we have the McKinley-Vento Act, if there's a problem with the child's immunizations, they're still not going to let the child go to school, and that happens quite frequently. So those are that was Alternate. You can find that on our Facebook page, which is Homeless Teacher. So we'll post that right after the show today. If you want to read that article about the top 10 crappy things, I won't use the nasty word yet. That if you want to see the top 10 crappy things, just go to our Facebook page. That's Homeless Teacher. And let's talk about the Ephraim Project again, because they're who's sponsoring our show tonight. And Liz and Tim Hall in Orlando, Florida, have been doing this ministry. You have to go behind the public library downtown. And I'll tell you, if you want a good meal, Tim welcomes you to come down and eat. Okay? And I would be happy to go down and eat with you. I try to help Tim and Liz as much as I can over there. I go down there quite frequently. Tim is an unbelievable cook, but here's the problem. This is all being done out of Tim and Liz's pocket. And so they are a fully established 501c3. And before we go any further, let's set the tone for this radio show. If you hear Tom Redman, the homeless teacher, say it, you demand Tom Redman, the homeless teacher, prove it. That's what I expect. I expect complete transparency, not just here on the show. And let me say also, we welcome any guests, pro or con, at any time to call our radio show. And if you don't know that number, it's 386-523-1380. 386-523-1380. Again, our Facebook page, Homeless Teacher. Now, what we're getting ready to do now is I'd like to talk about our first guest. Our first guest is Deputy Stephanie Krager. And Deputy Krager of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Hey, B, is she on the line yet? No, we haven't. Okay, so Stephanie Krager will be joining us here in a few minutes. B, can we give her a call? And she's going to be talking about what they do in Hillsborough County. Now, law enforcement, that's the theme of our show today, is law enforcement and what their role in homelessness is. And I don't know if Chief Chitwood's going to like the fact that I'm saying this, but I'll just say that we need to do a better job in Daytona Beach about having law enforcement do that. And the thing about it is that if we have outreach as officers, we do a better job. And Stephanie Krager is coming on our show because she has presented all over the country. She just came back from Chicago at a conference up there talking about how well, things are going and how her program works. So we're going to be talking with Miss Krager. I'm kind of, you have to excuse us. We don't have her quite on the phone yet. So if, let's go ahead and move on. Let's go to our ass hat of the week. Ass hat.
Who's the ass hat?
You know, it's tough to be a douche. Hey, everybody. So every week, we have a great segment. It's Ass Hat of the Week. And before I start talking about our 3 ass hats this week, I want to define ass hat for you. What we have is I'm a reading teacher, if you're not aware of that. So I'm going to be a little OCD on you now. And I'm going to say, here's my definition of an ass hat. First of all, obviously a noun. And we all know how to pronounce it. So I'll just tell you that what it is it is any person through inaction, miseducation, or greed does something wrong that hurts somebody else, they're an asshat. So let me repeat that. If it's anybody does something because they're not educated about it or because they're greedy or whatever, and it hurts another person, they're an asshat. So we're going to do this every week, and what we're going to do is we're going to name our 3 asshats, and we're going to ask you to either go to our Facebook page and vote, or we're going to ask you to call in. And by the way, let's say that we always welcome our ass hat of the week to call in at 386-523-1380 to defend themselves if they dare. We'll see who the first taker of that is. But first, let's go to our 3 ass hats this week. Number 1, Miss Annette Sims of Seminole County Solutions. Now, here's what Miss Sims is doing. And remember, you get to vote for one of the 3. One of the 3. Miss Sims, she is protesting homeless people. She stands next to homeless people, and we'll put that video up on our Facebook page if you'd like to. And she stands next to them and she protests, and then what she does is she's trying to get the county council to pass an ordinance that you have to pay for a permit to ask for help. So that's our first ass hat of the week this week. Our second ass hat of the week, Pastor Stewart in Tampa. Now, Pastor Stewart was all over the news in a positive way. Hey, he's doing a great thing. He is going to help this homeless family out. Here's what happened to homeless families in the woods. CPS comes out to them and says, look, you can't have your children in the woods. They go with CPS to the pastor and his wife, and they say, we need your help, Pastor. They're going to take our kids if you don't take them in tonight. Will you help us? And the pastor very nicely took the children in. Here's where the story goes sideways. He didn't take the parents in. That's my opinion. Okay. You know, yeah, it's nice, but we need to take care of the whole family. Here's the thing. I called Pastor Stewart, and his impression is they're drug addicts and their kids are better off with the pastor. And so what he's done is he's convinced them that it's better for him to raise their children, and he has gotten them to give them up for adoption. Now, in my eyes, what's going to happen is, whether it's 2 months, 2 years, or whatever, that they're going to want their children back. They're going to get sober eventually, and they're not going to like the fact that their rights were stolen. And so that's our second ass hat, Pastor Stewart in Tampa. And finally, our third ass hat, somebody near and dear to my heart. That's Miss Peggy Crevette. She is the CEO of a shelter in Jacksonville, Florida. And this shelter has the most inhumane check-in procedures I have ever seen. They make you strip down to everything. They put you in institutional clothing. They take all of your possessions. I could go on and on. But the bottom line is they don't treat people with respect. So remember, you could call in and give our votes to Bea. She'll answer the phone and she'll take your votes. You can go on our Facebook page, Homeless Teacher, and you can vote. And now we're going to have Deputy Stephanie Krager join us on the line. Stephanie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, welcome to our show here, Tough Times on WELE 1380.
Great. I'm glad to be here.
So, Stephanie, our theme of our show tonight is what law enforcement can do to help the homeless problem. So I've kind of told people a little bit about what you guys are doing with the Tampa PD and Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, but give us a quick explanation of what you really do.
Well, basically, we have 5 deputies assigned to different areas of the county, and our primary duties are to work with the homeless. We plan on decreasing the calls for service. That's the main reason, and also to help these folks. The guys that just can't do the stuff for themselves, the red tape, that type of stuff. We also work with Tampa PD, who has 2 officers, and Plant City has just joined us in the last couple of months. And
that's awesome.
Temple Terrace is starting here in the next couple of weeks.
Now, you just came back from a trip, didn't you, Deputy Krager?
Yes, I did. I just came back from Chicago.
And what were you doing up in Chicago?
Myself and Officer Dan McDonald with Tampa Police Department went up there to present our program, our homeless crisis intervention team program, to different agencies, actually internationally. There was several agencies from all over the world. So,
Deputy Krager, would you say how long have you been doing this?
The homeless program for about 5 years now.
How long have you personally been working with homeless individuals or people without housing?
Well, I've been a police officer for 25 years.
Well, that answers that question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the reason I asked you those questions, would you say you have a pretty good handle on how we help people out of homelessness?
Yes.
And what would you say is the most important thing to get one of your people that you meet on the streets out of homelessness? What is the number? Go ahead and tell me your number one thing.
It's got to be the dedication of the people you work with. We work with several agencies throughout the county that help us achieve getting this person out of homelessness. We try very hard to work with that person after several engagements. Sometimes, it takes us 10 times to talk to that person that's been homeless for over 20 years and just, is tired of dealing with the government, tired of dealing with the world, and they would rather stay, in their camp in the woods and just kind of avoid everybody.
But, Stephanie, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you touched a nerve there with me.
Okay.
And here's why. Okay. I saw you just housed Ruby. I met Ruby just outside the Salvation Army when I was personally homeless in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see stuff like that, and I meet people, I've met many here on the streets of Daytona Beach that we have housed, that I've gotten to see success. It really makes me feel good. And when I talk about striking a nerve, you hit the nail on the head. Case management. And reaching out to people. And here's the real question, Stephanie. How many people want to be homeless?
Well, I would say there's only a very few. Most of them they just don't realize what the services are out there. And they just need that little hand-holding that we do or the case managers do to get them to where they need to be.
So I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if what you're saying is outreach is the key, I would agree with you. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Outreach is the key. Getting out there in the community, talking to these folks, seeing what's missing. Even starting with a little thing as helping them with getting an ID. You gain their trust. They start to tell you what's going on in their life and what they would like to see in their future. and then you just go from there. But yes, outreach, getting everyone together. I'm talking mental health, substance abuse, cops, case managers, everyone that you can think of. Go out there and do an outreach so everyone is there, and that can assist with that subject or multiple subjects.
You know what, Stephanie? It's all about personal relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the way we get things done.
And so I have to ask you your opinion, because I would consider you an expert, Stephanie. I mean, I don't know what other people's opinion of an expert is, but I would say, considering you've been a law enforcement official for 25 years, you've run a successful program that you're going all over the country to brief. And by the way, tell them what the name of the presentation was up there, because I went through that PowerPoint. It was unbelievable.
Innovations with CIT and homelessness.
See, I didn't know what CIT was. That's why I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, CIT is crisis intervention. We started that program about 16 years ago. What that is law enforcement teaching other law enforcement how to talk to the mentally ill. That's unfortunately most of our homeless population. They've got some severe mental illness. Their families have kind of, it's gotten tough on them. So, they're stuck on the street. And they have really, they have places to go, but they just don't know what's good for them, at this point. They're just, they're unmedicated, and they're just kind of roaming the street and self-medicating with, the current drug trends out there.
Oh, those darn druggies. We just need to leave them alone, right?
No, absolutely not. We want to help those folks. They're self-medicating for a reason. Usually it's for schizophrenia or bipolar. There's so many issues out there that these folks are just trying to get relief from.
Hey, Stephanie, have you heard of the Lazarus program down in Miami?
Actually, no, I've never heard of it.
Well, I don't expect you to, because this is not law enforcement based, but what you just made me realize is a great program they have down in Miami. And what they do is they have, and I want your opinion of it. It's the reason I'm bringing it up. They have 2 nurses that do nothing but go dispense meds daily to the homeless on the street. And apparently, the last statistics I saw, and it's probably been almost a year since I looked, so please don't quote me on this number, a reduction of arrests of around 15% just from that one program.
I think that would be an awesome program. I've actually approached our legislature, the people that actually work with us, to get things done in the community. And that was one of my primary things, is trying to get the psych meds out into the community, to the ones that need it. I was successful in getting Hillsborough County Healthcare to actually not charge a copay for psych meds. So that has worked out. In Hillsborough County Healthcare, we can get them and then actually get them the medicines they need without having to pay a copay.
Yeah, and you know why they dispense them daily? Because I don't know if our listening audience understands, but when you give a homeless person a prescription, number one, in the Florida heat, it's worthless in a day or two. Mm-hmm. That's if it doesn't get stolen, lost. They forget to take it. I mean, we don't expect people that have access level 1 disabilities, and for those of you in the audience, that means somebody that's clinically being diagnosed with a major illness. That's what access level 1 means. If they have schizophrenia, are they going to remember to take their meds on the street by themselves, Stephanie?
Absolutely not. I certainly like these meds out there that are injection. They last a lot longer. These folks aren't having to take those meds daily. But yeah, I love the nurse idea. I mean, I certainly wish we had that type of program here in Hillsborough County.
Well, I'll say this, Stephanie, we got to go to a break for a minute. Can you hold over for break and do another segment with us?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to put Stephanie on hold a minute. And if you want to join us, you can call in at 386 523-1380, and I'll do better at that because I'm having a real tough time trying to keep everything going here. So we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, and we'll talk to Stephanie Krager in a minute. Again, if you want to join us, 386-523-1380, or go on our Facebook page, Homeless Teacher.
Imus in the morning.
Good morning, Miss Wheel.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
And dear Imus, good morning, Miss Imus.
Good morning, honey. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. How are you guys?
Do you know why I'm congratulating him, Lee?
No.
Great. No, why?
Today, December 2nd, is 44 years that my husband has been on the radio. When he came to NBC, came to New York City in 1971.
You're really old.
You're fat.
You're fatter.
You have a gut.
You have a gutter
Hangs
gut.
over your panties.
Your gut is hanging over your panties.
You two
tell you
are
what.
about equal with that.
Beat me.
Imus in the morning on 1380 The Cat.
Jessica, who's there? I'm that little voice in your head that reminds you of important things. Okay, what do you want? You need to use your Shop Your Way surprise points at Sears before they expire. I forgot all about those. I know. Members get free surprise points toward their favorite purchases in-store or online. Check your account at shopyourway.com, then use points on anything you want. Sandals, patio furniture, maybe a new jacket for spring. Where is my jacket? Cleaners, ready on Thursday.
Surprise points are valid until May 25th. Amount of points awarded based on membership status and other factors. Ask to redeem your points at checkout. Exclusions apply. Go to shopyourway.com for details.
This is Charles Osgood. Tax compliance can be a real pain for businesses. That's why I'd like to tell you about Avalara's powerful tax automation technology. Avalara simplifies sales tax and other business taxes with real-time tax rate calculations and automatic return filing. Avalara's software already integrates with your accounting, e-commerce, and point-of-sale systems, so it couldn't be easier. Find out how the good people at Avalara can help you at avalara.com. That's AVALARA.com.
Progressive brings you Flowetry with Flow.
Find coverage based on your budget today. Stay in control of your spending. Insurance and your wallet splendidly blending. Be so happy, pappy, you'll just want to dance. Found a policy that fits you like painted on pants.
Get insurance based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. Visit progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Tough Times on 1380 The Cat, WELE. Our Facebook page is Homeless Teacher. You can join us by calling in at 386-523-1380. And today, if you're just joining us new on the show, we have Deputy Stephanie Krager on the line with us from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and we're talking about law enforcement and how they can help us with our homeless problem. So, Deputy Krager, how are you?
I'm great.
Are you enjoying yourself okay on the show today? Because you know I'm a little hot, right, Deputy Krager?
Yes, I do.
And I'm going to say this to the audience: if you're not familiar with the homeless teacher or what's going on in Daytona with the homeless situation, welcome to our show. And we really are here for one purpose. This show was born because we couldn't get a voice in the local media because it's very biased here. The Daytona News Journal does not print anything except pro Safe Harbor news. So here we are. And we basically try to talk about poverty, and that's why we have Deputy Krager with us, and we'll get right back to it now. Deputy Krager, I know that over in Tampa you have some very unique challenges with all the different law enforcement agencies you've mentioned already. I know Tampa's on board with you, and you were talking about some agencies we're joining. What's the big plan?
The big plan is just to get actually a group of law enforcement together to work and solve the problem of homelessness. Of course, we can't do it without our community members, the people that we work with. You know, that's how we get the job done, is making those connections out there in the community and with these agencies and working working towards solving and getting them in housing.
Deputy Krager, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but I do consider you a homeless expert. So I'm going to ask you some very pointed questions. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, let's start off with, tell me what you think of homeless shelters.
I think there's a purpose for them for the very short term. There's several folks in our community that are constantly passing through. So I think there's a purpose to a small contingent of shelters for short stays. Okay.
And well, let me just say this. There's another issue that I know is an issue in Tampa. And that issue is, Well, I say in Tampa, it's actually everywhere. Definitely here in Daytona and everywhere in Florida that I lived homeless, it's been an issue, and that is people making money off the backs of the homeless. Now, I know there's been lots of news over there about certain agencies, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. That's not the purpose. But tell me what you've seen people having to experience at these fake agencies trying to help the homeless.
It's very frustrating because I seriously think that some of these agencies aren't helping these folks at all. They're actually making it very difficult for these folks to try and help themselves. I've had an agency that used to have the homeless folks sign over their complete SSI check, which is Social Security Disability.
That happens everywhere, Deputy Krager. I mean, it's not a Tampa problem.
Well, it's very frustrating for me because getting into helping the homeless and finding this out, it was very frustrating because I'm like, well, you could simply use that money to get your own apartment and move out of that shelter, which is, was dirty, drug infested, and not the prettiest place to stay. So, it was, my goal was to get, I had a couple guys in there, and my goal was to get them all out, which I did, and now I just don't use them anymore.
Awesome. And everybody, you should applaud Deputy Krager. Deputy Krager, how do they donate to you and what you're doing over there? Because you need money. I see all the time that you guys are getting donations for people that you're housing and you're putting furniture in their houses, but all this doesn't come free. You guys, how do you raise your money and how can we help you?
Well, we have absolutely a zero budget. All the county pays for is our salary and our vehicles. Basically, what we have is we have a Facebook page. It's called HCSO, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Homeless Initiative. And our plan really is our agency is working with us. Anyone can donate cash. They can just send a check straight to our Sheriff's Operations Center. And the information is on our Facebook page. Just make sure that you put in the subject line, Homeless Initiative. That money goes towards all types of things, day bus passes so people can get to and from work or to and from doctor's appointments. We also assist, there's some guys out there just like I said, that need a hand up, and we go get them IDs, and then they need special work items like steel-toed shoes or, a hard hat to work in construction. So, some of those things are pretty hard to find. So we use that money to buy those specific things that person may need just to get on their feet.
Okay. Well, Deputy Krager, I'm going to end with one last question. Not only do we have fake agencies, and some of them are notable agencies, and again, I don't want to name any names. We're not going to try to throw anybody under the bus. That's not the purpose. But let's talk about people that are collecting donations and claiming to be homeless advocates that really may not be homeless advocates. Do you have that problem in Tampa?
We do. There's several people that are claiming to be homeless advocates, and they obviously don't use the money for the purpose it's intended. Or maybe they do, we just don't know about it. We just don't see it. We don't see what the end game is. Like I said, our end game is to get these guys housed in a job if they're capable. If not, get wraparound services with case management and get them on their own.
Okay, here's your last question, Deputy Krager, and I apologize to all the callers out there that are waiting for Deputy Krager. I talk too much. I apologize. Deputy Krager, you actually lit up the phone lines, and I didn't give us time to actually get to any callers. I apologize for that. You know how I talk, right?
Sure do.
Okay, so I have one more thing I can't let you go without asking you this. There's no way I can let you go. So, we talked about the effect of fake homeless advocates without any paperwork that are collecting donations. But what about those people going to public meetings? Do you have any problems with that over there?
We do. And, I think their point is to disrupt the meeting and gear it towards their agenda. We're all at that meeting for a single purpose, to help the homeless, the mentally ill, and the substance abuse subjects that are, it kind of all fits together at this point. But, sometimes when we have those type of folks, they go in, they interrupt the meeting. It takes 20 to 30 minutes for them to say their point. And, sometimes the point is okay, but sometimes the point is just calling everyone out and basically saying that we're not doing our job. Some of these homeless advocates want us to forcibly remove people from the street and force them into treatment when they don't want it. Well, that's not our job. That's not what we want to do. If they need it medically, if they fit Baker Act criteria, if they need that type of thing, we will certainly do what we need to do to take care of these folks. But we're just not going to walk in and say, listen, you need to come with me. You don't have a choice in the matter. We want them to ask for help and get the help from us.
You know what? I'm just going to say this publicly, and my wife will probably get angry, but I love you, Deputy Krager. I love you for what you do for the people that are on the streets. I applaud you, and everybody that's out in the audience, please consider going to the Facebook page, HCSO Homeless Initiative, and on there you can find all the information to give. And again, to the callers that are on the line, I sincerely apologize. And Deputy Krager, would you come back and join us in the future?
Absolutely. Just let me know. And I appreciate the time to talk about our program. I think it's very successful, and I hope that other agencies adopt it.
Thank you, Deputy Krager. Have a nice day.
You too.
And now I want to talk about Tim and Liz at the Ephraim Project real quick. If you're just joining us, Tim and Liz are sponsoring our show tonight, the Ephraim Project. They're a 501c3 organization out of Orlando, Florida. They've served about 16,000 meals. Now, you know what, B, I didn't get a number on that. 16,000 in how long? Oh, that's in 2015. Okay, so they served 16,192 meals in 2015. And I'll tell you, I've been out there on a Friday night. Tim is a phenomenal cook. He gets his food from Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida in Orlando, and they have to pay for that food. And that food is then brought to his church. They prepare it all there with all volunteers. There's no paid people here. This is not, hey, let me say this while we're talking about it. If you hear me recommend somebody on my show, they are helping the homeless. Because I vet every single thing I say on the air and every person I associate myself with. So if you associate yourself with Liz and Tim Hall of the Ephraim Project and you really want to help some folks, this is a great way to do it. Go to their website, and their website is the Ephraim Project. Okay, sorry. The website is www.theephraimproject.org, and that's spelled EPHRAIM. Theephraimproject.org.
We put fear in all other stations. Run! 5,000 watts of pure power. The Big Talker. WELE 1380. The Cat.
Napa Know How!
Some people steer clear of store brands, but Napa Conventional Motor Oil for $2.19 a quart is more than a store brand. It has the Napa logo on it, a logo that represents quality and knowledge, the same logo on the store and that guy's shirt. So pick up Napa Conventional Motor Oil for $2.19 a quart, only available at You guessed it, Napa. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 5/31/16.
WELE 1380, The Cat. This is Tough Times Radio with the Homeless Teacher. Welcome back, everybody. And if you just missed it, we just had Deputy Stephanie Krager of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And boy, Stephanie gave us some great information. And Chief Chitwood, I hope you're listening to all that. And I'll be happy to give you Stephanie's number if you need it. But Chief's going to be our new sheriff, I'm hoping, because I'll tell you, I don't get into politics. I really don't.
Lucia?
I don't get into politics at all. But Chief Chitwood has been doing a phenomenal job. And I'll talk more about that later. But right now, we have some special people on the phone because every single week, Chico and Debbie Jimenez are going to join us with our 5-minute homeless person on the street segment. Chico and Debbie, you there?
Yeah, we're here. How are you doing, Tom?
How you doing, Tom?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing today?
We're great.
Wonderful.
Hey, can you tell me who are we talking to today?
We're going to be talking to Corey Durham today, and I wanted to let everybody know that he was one of the people that was on the wall back in January, and then he got into the Bridge Bed program, and now he is a homeowner on his own.
Whoa. Stop. Right. No, I misheard you. You said he's a what?
He is a homeowner, and we are so proud of him.
Okay, let me get this straight. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So we had a guy that was homeless, experiencing homelessness, and he's living on the wall down there outside the Volusia Tag office is where you're talking, right?
Yes, sir.
And he is now a homeowner?
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to talk to this guy.
February the 18th, he got his own place. We helped him get in, and yes, it is so exciting. And he has changed his life so much, and we are so proud of him.
Yes, we are.
Well, cool. Let's talk to him.
Okay, here it is. How you doing, Tom? This is Corey.
Hey, Corey, how are you today? Thanks so much for joining us, brother.
Hey, I would love to do it for you, buddy.
Hey,
yeah.
go ahead.
Chico and Debbie, they took care of me from day one as soon as they met me.
How long have you known them?
I could tell you the first time they met me, maybe 2-3 years ago, and my friend broke my wheelchair because, the streets and everything, potholes, whatever. And they brought me a brand new wheelchair. They brought me food, clothes, and all this stuff. And, after I got my settlement from the accident, I crushed my whole left side of my body because the car run me over.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry, Corey.
Yeah. It threw me like 35 feet. And I figured I could get up. But once I tried to get up, I just buckled right down. So.
Wow. Corey, can I ask you a couple of questions? Do you mind discussing your situation? Because I don't want to be too personal with you, man.
No, go ahead. I don't have no secrets from my friends.
Well, we have a lot more friends than just me and you on here. You know that, right?
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, we're broadcasting all the way from St. Augustine down to Melbourne. So we have a lot of folks joining us right now. So you're cool with me asking anything, man? That's cool?
Anything you want.
All right. Corey, do you use substances?
Nope, never did.
All right. Do you have any physical disabilities?
Well, besides not walking anymore, yes.
But I'm talking about besides, okay, we understand you're hurt from the accident, right? Well, what are the long-term effects from that?
Well, I'm going to try to go through therapy, and I'm going to try to walk again.
Okay.
With Debbie's and Chico's help.
Right. How long were you homeless?
Oh, many years, Tom.
Is many more than 2?
At least 5 years.
What got you off the street, Corey?
Well, what got me off the street was Chico and Debbie and my settlement from the accident. And I figured, a lot of these guys out here, they're my friends, but I'm not trying to put them down, but they will get settlements for $10,000, $20,000, and they just want to smoke it up. So I decided to go the other path, give me a house, and just do right.
Dude, you're a homeowner, right? You have your own trailer that you own. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, you rock. So how's it feel to be king of the castle, bro?
Well, hey, I mean, it's great. I mean, I just wish I could walk again. You know, that's all. And tell them about the...
We got about a minute, Corey. I apologize, but we got about a minute left. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody out there? Because what I try to tell everybody is the way you help homeless people is you have a personal relationship with them. Would you agree with that, Corey?
Yes, I know them all. I know all 300 of them.
Wow.
And we slept on the wall together, and, you know, I mean, Chico and Debbie comes by, give us all food and clothes and everything else. So I just want to, you know, close with, they're my best friends, they're my family, and that's about all I can say.
Wow, man, you're making me cry, bro.
You're making me cry, too.
I hear you crying back there. Get back on the phone, girl.
All right, here she is.
Hey, Corey, can you still hear me, right? Corey?
Yeah, I'm right.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say goodbye. I didn't get to say goodbye to him. But, hey, Debbie and Chico, before I let you go, please tell us how people can help your ministry.
We have a website, www.spreadingthewordwithoutsayingawordministry.com.
Okay.
And you can go on there, and we have a PayPal account.
Got a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page. It's also Spreading the Word Without Saying a Word Ministry.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, I look forward to your segment every week. This is my favorite part of the show because you know I love talking with our brothers on the street.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Hey, you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you next Thursday.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. You take care.
All
right. Now, goodbye, guys. Now, everybody, it's our Random Acts of Kindness segment. And this week, what we do every week, I guess I should explain that. This week, we're going to be talking about something that happened in Orlando, and I know people are probably going, oh, that's that homeless teacher guy that's from Orlando, so everything's from Orlando. Well, let's talk about something a minute. I have been in Volusia County. If anybody'd like to know, I've lived on Hill Street, New Smyrna. I've graduated from Stetson University, both bachelor's and master's, living in DeLand. I was a Volusia County teacher, vice president of football operations for the Daytona Thunder. No, I'm not an outsider. I moved to Orlando a couple years ago because my beautiful wife, her son was in high school, and that's done now. Everybody here in Volusia County, I'm sure, is glad to know that I will be in your community daily. And if you want to call in and talk to me, we have our segment coming up very soon. It's called Put Your Ass on the Line. And if you think you can call up and state a point that I did something wrong, I want you to see if you can put your ass on the line. Call up with some good data. Tell me what you think of me. Do whatever you want to do. And that segment's going to come right at the end of the show. But right now, we're going to go to commercial break.
It's beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SC was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Put your ass on the line. That's the segment. This is where you get to call in and talk to the homeless teacher. You can ask me any question. And so we're on the same page. Let me go through why I'm doing this and what my qualifications are, because what happens is I attend meetings all throughout the city relating to homelessness, whether it be the commission meeting, whether it be the shelter work groups, whether it be a city commission meeting, a county meeting. Nobody really knows who I am because I get 2.5 minutes to try to talk about a subject. I don't get time to talk about my biography. So let's talk about that quickly while we wait for the phone lines to load up. And here's my resume. I'm just a teacher. I went homeless in Orlando in July of 2014 for 30 days. And I honestly went to just show my students what it was like to be homeless and hopefully get them to read over the summer. I've now lived homeless voluntarily, by the way. Yes, I have a home, I have a wife, I have a career, a master's degree, but I lived homeless for 98 days in 13 cities across America. My last city was Los Angeles. That was 1 year ago this month that I was homeless in Los Angeles for 2 weeks. I've personally stayed in many, many, many shelters, 30 some if I believe, if I'm correct, but don't quote me on that number. I have talked to homeless service providers from here to Los Angeles, Phoenix, Houston. I have actually been a consultant. Now, free, by the way, because I'm not doing this for money, for 3 Salvation Armies. The Salvation Army of Tampa had me come over and stay overnight in their shelter as a homeless person, kind of under, like a secret shopper kind of deal. And then I gave them, a long report. And I did that for both Houston and New Orleans Salvation Armies too. So I've kind of been around the block on homelessness. And while I am seen as a rebel rouser and I am. I mean, I would be being dishonest with you if I didn't tell you I'm just a jerk. But I'm a jerk with a mission that cares about people, that states facts. Okay, and I'm allowed to be a jerk. And I'm allowed to be a jerk because I'm an expert. And whether you agree I'm an expert or not, I frankly don't care. The Florida Governor's Council on Homelessness had me come brief them on homelessness. So I would say that if the Florida Governor's Council on Homelessness, that's Governor Rick Scott, by the way, has invited me to come brief them, that I'm an expert. So, let's talk a little more. I also briefed every single continuum of care in the state of Florida that deals with homelessness for the Florida Coalition for the Homeless. Now, I've not seen other people that have done that and still get the disrespect I get from the city leaders here in Daytona, from the service providers here in Daytona. It's become so contentious that it's been ridiculous. And I have to be honest with you while I'm wasting all the callers' time. I get really ticked off. I get really, really ticked off because a good example is last night. I attended a city council meeting. And I'm not trying to talk about what happened there. Those of you that were there saw it. Those of you that haven't can go to our Facebook page, Homeless and Hungry, and see the video. I was chastised last night. I was chastised because I have an opinion. Now, whether you agree with anyone's opinion, and our forum is a wide open forum, I welcome everybody. If you disagree with me, if you think I'm a jerk, call me up. I'll be respectful and let you give your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And last night I gave an opinion very respectfully, and I was treated very horribly. The reason they get away with that is they think I'm a nobody. I am a nobody. I'm just a teacher. I'm just a guy that knows how to read research. I'm just a guy that has studied every successful model in the country. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. I have to say, my staff here, I want to thank them now before I forget, because, I get really wrapped up. I don't know if you could tell how passionate I am right now, but the whole reason we're doing this radio show is because the city of Daytona Beach is completely corrupt. $185,000 was paid to a fake homelessness consultant named Dr. Robert Marbut. Since that has happened, Many people trying to make money have tried to push the Volusia Safe Harbor model through. I intend to stop that. The reason I intend to stop that is not that we don't need shelter. We do. We don't need $12 million going into service providers' pockets. We need $12 million worth of mental health care and job training. And that's where the money goes, not to any organization. I will say this. If you think you know homelessness, if you really think you know what's going on in your city, I want you to think of this. You're wrong. Poverty and what's happening here in Daytona Beach, and again, the callers, I'm so sorry. I didn't thank everybody. B, thank you so much. I almost forgot. Mia, thank you for your help today. And on the boards, Mr. Harold, thank you so much. Guys, I keep running over folks, and I promise next week we'll get callers. They're throwing things at me. I am so sorry. I'm sure you guys that are on the phones are not happy, so I apologize. I hope you'll join us next week right here on WELE 1380 The Cat for Tough Times Radio with the Homeless Teacher. Again, you can go to our Facebook page, Homeless Teacher. We don't take donations. We just educate you.
Watts of Big Talk Radio. WELE, Ormond Beach, 1380. The Cat.